Welcome to this channel, which is devoted to a reading and better understanding of the book Ascent of Mount Carmel by St. John of the Cross. On the Smoke of Satan playlist, which appears on this channel, we just did a video on the word Elohim, and it's linked down below. So you might want to check that out, because it is a bit related to this video. We discussed that along with the proper name, Yahweh, Israelites had three common names for God: El, Elohim, and Eloah. And the word Elohim is found 2,570 times in the Bible. Elohim is actually a plural noun, and it literally means gods, plural, rather than a single god. According to the Channeler notes for the Douay-Rheims Bible, this insinuates the plurality of persons of the deity. Elohim is an interesting word, that it has additional meanings besides meaning just God. For instance, Exodus says, "His master shall bring him to the gods, and he shall be set to the door and posts, and he shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall be his servant forever." The word Elohim is translated in this passage literally as gods, and it is plural. However, you note it's in the lower case. The Channeler notes in the Douay-Rheims Bible say, "To the gods, Elohim, that is, to the judges or the magistrates authorized by God." So, along with meaning God, Elohim can also mean judges or magistrates. Elohim is used again in a similar way in the next chapter of Exodus. "If the thief be not known, the master of the house shall be brought to the gods, and shall swear that he did not lay his hand upon his neighbor's goods, to do any fraud, either in ox or an ass, or in sheep or raiment, or anything that may bring damage. The cause of both parties shall come to the gods." There's also another meaning to the word Elohim. It also means rulers.
Oh, you fat penguin!
No, not that kind of ruler. The ruler we're talking about is a ruler who has dominion over people. Elohim is used in that way in this psalm. "God hath stood in the congregation of gods, and being in the midst of them he judgeth gods. How long will you judge unjustly, accept the persons of the wicked, judge for the needy and fatherless, do justice to the humble and the poor, rescue the poor and deliver the needy out of the hand of the sinner? They have not known nor understood, they walk in darkness. All the foundations of the earth shall be moved. I have said, you are gods, and all of you, the sons of the Most High. But you, like men, shall die, and shall fall like one of the princes." At first blush, this passage is probably confusing to some people. However, it makes a lot more sense when we know that the Hebrew word Elohim has an additional meaning of rulers. Then this passage becomes much more understandable. So what does all this have to do with the book Ascent of Mount Carmel by St. John of the Cross? Well, as you recall, in chapter 20 of the third book, St. John said that we can encapsulate everything in his book with one point. And that point is that we should not take joy in temporal blessings or attachments. St. John tells us that this is the very basic foundation of all favors that God will grant to the soul. And without this disposition, we're very unlikely to make any progress. Now, we discussed this earlier. The First Commandment in Exodus says, "I am the Lord thy God, who brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt not have strange gods before me." In this passage, Elohim is translated into gods. It says strange gods. And yes, the literal meaning here is a false god. However, when we understand the complete meaning of Elohim and all its additional meanings, which includes rulers, we see that the First Commandment tells us that we should not have strange rulers that we place of greater importance beyond the God Almighty. We should not be ruled by anything but God. And of course, this means that we should not be ruled by our passions or attachments. The New Testament reinforces for us that this is the most important commandment. "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with thy whole heart, with thy whole soul, and with thy strength, and with all thy mind." I do try to keep my opinions out of this playlist, but I'm going to offer one here. It seems to me that what St. John of the Cross sets forth in Ascent of Mount Carmel isn't just some strange form of asceticism that was brought about by an eccentric monk in the late Middle Ages. It's not something that we can just read, consider whether we want to take it up, and then just discard it as easily. It's not just the flavor of the day that we can dabble in if we're so inclined. What St. John of the Cross sets out for us, it has complete biblical basis. St. John provides us the straight and narrow path. He also explains what is set forth in divine law, and it is for us to follow. I hope you enjoyed this installment of Ascent of Mount Carmel. We'll be back again in about a week with another one. In the meantime, please pray for the church.
Ruler of my heart, lover of my soul. Oh, where can you be? I wait patiently